The nature of inquiries has an intriguing quality. Sometimes what appears to be a straightforward curiosity conceals much more sinister motives, particularly when a young woman asks them, a girl who, in between giggles and light-hearted banter, uses expressions that may appear harmless but actually hide obvious indications of interest. You've probably experienced that subtle electricity beneath the words at some point if you're an older man. Really, what is she telling you? When she asks a seemingly innocuous question, what does she hope to learn? Not everything is as it seems. Those inquiries are frequently motivated by a desire to find out if you have something to offer that younger men do not. Maturity, self-assurance, stability, and, above all, the emotional stability that only comes with growing older. The 7 difficult questions a young lady may ask when she wants to move the relationship closer to a more personal level will be revealed today. But first, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Celia, and if this is your first visit to the channel, please hit the notification bell and subscribe. Because what I'm going to tell you will not only make you see things more clearly, but it will also help you get the nuances of what a lady is really trying to tell you when she speaks to you. We'll delve far deeper than you can think. Let's begin. Why do young women find older men attractive? Many people ask the question, frequently with bias or naive presumptions. However, if you have ever been in that predicament, you are aware that there is more to it than the cliches of consumerism and the pursuit of financial security. Today I want us to know why a young woman and an older man can have such a strong and genuine bond based on my personal experience and the stories I've heard. You know, hypergamy is typically associated with the desire to proceed with an older man. This idea describes people's innate propensity to look for mates who are more advanced than they are, whether that be academically, socially, or emotionally. And although this may come across as calculating or cold, it has its roots in biology and the human need for security. But status and money aren't the only factors. It has to do with something much more significant, the life experience and emotional security that an older man may provide. A young woman who is still going through her own experiences and self-discovery frequently looks for someone who has been there before. She seems to be drawn to the beacon you stand for, as though she is looking ahead. Someone who has experienced life, gained knowledge, and learned the lessons life has to offer. For her, an older man's emotional maturity serves as a safe haven, a haven in a world that frequently seems hectic, perplexing, and unclear. One of my close friends, Sarah, once told me why she chose to date a man who was 20 years her senior. "I feel heard and understood with him," she remarked. "There is nothing for me to prove. I feel so at ease knowing that he is aware of who he is. He isn't looking to me for approval. He's not trying to establish his superiority. He simply lets me be." Many younger men who are still developing their egos are unable to provide that. but you can give her the room she needs with your knowledge, your wounds, and your victories. In addition to emotional stability, a young woman needs to be guided, not in the sense of being ruled or subjugated, but rather of having someone by her side who can help her learn and develop. Experience is a great advantage, and the things you've gone through and learned throughout the years will make you a very desirable person. The fact that many young women, frequently without realizing it, look for something more in an older man is no accident. You seem to have a sense of security that they don't necessarily find in people their own age. Naturally, society may doubt it, but what really occurs between two individuals who have a deeper connection is not affected by other viewpoints. Indeed, physical attraction is frequently the first step in that connection. But as soon as she understands that she can have something with you that she may never have had before, it swiftly turns into something more intimate and emotional. Total faith. And these dynamics also have a psychological component that is sometimes disregarded. Young women greatly appreciate older men's propensity for patience and lack of impulsivity. According to Carl Jung, one of the most obvious indicators of emotional maturity is patience. Additionally, there is a magnetic attraction when a man is able to wait for the proper moment in both life and a relationship. You won't put any pressure on her, so she feels comfortable trusting you. You know that things that are truly valuable require time. Naturally, we cannot overlook the sense of security you convey as an elderly guy when it comes to making decisions and having a purpose. You've already mastered the ability to discern what is truly important in a world full of diversions and uncertainties. It's critical that you are able to concentrate your efforts on what is most important, is something that many young ladies can't resist. It's about appreciating the present and taking pleasure in the small but meaningful things, not about hurrying or always looking for the next thing. A true connection is formed at this point. She is attracted to you for a reason, so keep that in mind when you're wondering why she seems interested in you. You provide her access to a world that others might not be able to, a secure environment, a connection based on trust, and, most importantly, the chance to be herself, without hurrying or passing judgment. The first inquiry she might ask you is now at hand, a seemingly straightforward question with a lot of depth. Did you ever notice, do you like going out with younger girls? She asks, nonchalantly, looking into your eyes. Although it appears to be a harmless remark, it is the first indication that she is intrigued. Together, let's dissect it and determine what she's actually attempting to learn when she poses that query to you. Are you attracted to younger women? It may appear like a casual remark, thrown into the discussion almost in passing when you hear that inquiry. In actuality, though, she's looking for something far more profound behind those words. The problem is that she is aware of it. She's probing the waters rather than only seeking a direct response. She truly wants to know if you have a different opinion of her. This inquiry is what I call a bait if, among the sea of younger women, she truly piques your curiosity. She uses a combination of flirting and insecurity to give you an opportunity to open up and express your interest without coming across as overt. Why? She secretly wants to know whether you, as an older man, value her contributions, her vigor, her youthful energy, but also her personality. It's a subliminal way of asking, do you find me attractive? Would you be interested in dating someone like me? Irene, a friend of mine, used to tell me that she used this exact question to find out if the man she was seeing found her age difference attractive or if it was merely a coincidence. I would pose a straightforward question to them, such as, how do you feel about dating younger women? Once she told me while giggling, I did it to test whether they could handle the talk, not to see if they loved someone young. I quickly lost interest in those who seemed apprehensive or made it a trivial subject. The people who answered with assurance and comfort were the ones who impressed me. Your response is crucial in this situation since it will have a significant impact. You risk losing the connection that was just starting to take shape if you react in an insecure manner, or worse, if you steer the conversation in a superficial path. She's seeking for evidence that you can see past the obvious, given your maturity and experience. How should you react then? The best course of action is to neither ignore nor take the question too seriously. A self-assured man can use this question as a chance to emphasize the traits that appeal to him in younger women in general, not just in her. You don't have to accept meaningless praise. Speak from the authenticity of your experience instead. An example would be to say, yeah, of course, I love younger women, rather than anything more conventional. You may go for something more sincere and truthful that shows how much you admire her and how attracted you are to her. For example, I prefer the energy and freshness of being with a younger person, and we both learn from each other. The fact that every individual contributes something special to a relationship intrigues me. By doing this, you're not only expressing curiosity but also demonstrating your appreciation for a younger woman's contributions that go beyond appearances. Avoiding giving her the impression that she is just one of many is crucial in this situation. Avoid giving her the impression that your attractiveness stems just from your appearance or age. In actuality, she wants to know if there is something remarkable about her that has captured your interest. That's what you need to communicate. Express your admiration for her youth while highlighting your genuine interest. Is the spark that transcends the years a personal connection? This question also addresses the psychological issues that younger women may experience when they date an older man. Many people question whether the age difference could become a barrier, even if they don't express it publicly. They question whether you will be able to appreciate them as a person and recognize their goals, anxieties, and abilities after the initial attraction. And she's assessing your ability to achieve it by asking you this question. In my experience, older guys frequently make an excessive effort while dating younger women. To remain competitive with males their own age or younger, they make a concerted effort to look younger than they actually are. In actuality, though, it's not attempting to be someone you're not that attracts a younger lady. It's being who you are. What really attracts her is that self-assurance, that inner tranquility. She doesn't want you to act younger than you actually are. She desires for you to feel safe enough to appreciate her youth without becoming less of yourself. I've learned a few things over the years, and here is some advice. A younger lady is not seeking an interview when she asks you this type of question. Rather, she is seeking a conversation that flows. It's not only about giving the right answer, it's also about having fun with the verbal dance and establishing a safe environment where you can both communicate without fear of criticism. She can show you her hobbies and uncertainties if she feels comfortable being herself. My buddy is the key that opens many doors, and she will perceive you as someone who is genuinely worth being with if you capture her soul. Do you like dating younger women? That's what a younger woman will ask you the next time. Keep in mind that age is not the only factor. Respond calmly, with attention, and with the assurance that what matters most in a relationship is what she has to offer as a person, not just her youth. It's an opportunity to show her what you genuinely appreciate. Regardless of the years that separate you, it's that spark that you both feel. Let's now discuss the following questions she may ask you, which typically comes shortly after this first round of probing. How do you feel about relationships between people of different ages? The situation becomes even more intriguing at this point, since she is genuinely interested in your position on what society may believe, not just your perspective. The discussion gets more in-depth now that she's tried the first inquiry. This is one of those queries that appears innocuous, almost informal, yet it has a lot of hidden meaning. How do you feel about relationships between people of different ages? A young woman is seeking more than your opinion when she asks you this question. She wants to see how you respond to the notion of dating someone younger, while also assessing your level of confidence in the face of any social criticism or looks. Relationships, including age differences, have always elicited different responses. They are viewed with mistrust by some and fascination by others. She wants to know if you can confidently traverse this region given your maturity and experience, because she is certain that she does not want to be with someone who is apprehensive or uneasy about something as trivial as age. I recall talking to my friend Carmen about how she started seeing a man who was almost 20 years older than her. At first, she told me, the issue of age was on her mind, but she wasn't sure how to handle it. She questioned him bluntly, "What do you think about relationships with such a big age difference?" during dinner one day. She was more interested in how he handled it in public than in whether he believed it to be right or wrong. She wanted to know if he had the self-assurance to not let other people's opinions or remarks affect him. Carmen assured me that if you were comfortable, I would be too, And the secret is that the distinction will be entirely dependent on how confidently you respond. Young women are already aware that age plays a role in their attraction to older males. They are more worried about how the age difference will be handled in the relationship, particularly in public, than they are about the age difference per se. It could give the wrong impression if you answer with uncertainty, insecurity, or excessive explanation. However, you will have made a significant step toward a stronger relationship if you respond to the question calmly without giving it more weight than it merits, and demonstrate that, to you, the emotional connection is what really counts, not what other people may think. For example, I think age is just a number, you might say. The bond between two people is what counts most. Why should it be an issue if we are in agreement? Although that answer may appear straightforward, it conveys an emotional stability that she will find impossible to refuse. You're expressing that the relationship you're developing together, not outside expectations, is what matters to you. That solidity you project is a haven in a world where opinions are all over the place. There is more to this question from a psychological perspective. A woman is also attempting to determine whether you take the connection seriously or if you consider it as a passing phase when she inquires about the age gap. Not all young women who show interest in older men are seeking short-term partnerships. The idea of being with someone who has clear priorities and doesn't view her as merely an experience or a fleeting fad actually appeals to a lot of people. She will find you more attractive if your response demonstrates that you don't mind the age difference and that you think the relationship can be sincere, even over the long run. She is seeking a partner who is emotionally stable, who doesn't make excuses or feel awkward about something as trivial as age. She is aware that not everyone in your immediate vicinity will concur. Although she may be conscious that her friends, family, or even co-workers may have thoughts regarding her relationship with an older man, she is looking for someone who will give her confidence. Someone who will be there to remind her that the relationship between you two is what counts during those times of uncertainty. She won't care about those other comments if she sees that confidence in you. I think of a personal story. My friend Andres began dating a woman who was almost 25 years younger than him a few years ago. Both of them were initially concerned about what others would think, but Andres' assurance whenever the subject of the age difference was brought up was what truly cemented their bond. A mutual buddy joked about the age gap at a get-together. Andres calmly responded, "I'm more than 20 years older than her, but if anyone doubts our happiness, they can say it to my face." As many people giggled uneasily. Their relationship was enhanced and any possible criticism was diffused by that easiness. The world may continue to gossip, but the relationship is between you two, as you can see. When you are both at ease and self-assured, outside opinions fade into the background. How you respond to those circumstances is what will actually make your relationship stronger. Age is ultimately irrelevant. What matters is how you view yourself and how you convey that confidence to the other person. What do you think of relationships with an age difference, then, when a young woman asks you? Recognize that she is seeking more than a theoretical solution. She is assessing your character to maintain a connection that may be criticized by others. She's putting your emotional fortitude to the test. You'll have passed one of the most crucial exams if you can demonstrate to her that you're totally confident in both yourself and the bond you're developing. This is when things start to become even more personal, so let's move on to the following question. She may want to go more into your emotional and private life after navigating the terrain of the age gap. The question, "How was your last relationship?" then inevitably arises. This isn't just any question, my friend. Let's examine her true motivation for asking this question. The discussion really starts to pick up steam at this point. How did your previous relationship go? Despite appearing to be a straightforward inquiry, this is one of the most illuminating questions a young lady may pose. She's not asking to fill an unpleasant pause or just be courteous. More importantly, she wants to know what kind of man you are in a relationship with and whether you are emotionally available. A young woman is measuring multiple factors at once when she inquires about your previous relationship. She wants to know if you've learned from your experiences or if you are still clinging to the past. However, she is attempting to determine what sort of partner you could be for her. This is important, since your discussion of your previous relationships will offer her a clear sense of how you might behave with her now. It's more important to demonstrate that you are a man who has grown, learned, and is prepared for something new than it is to provide a detailed account of everything that happened with your ex. Your biggest ally in this situation is honesty. However, there's a thin line between sharing and bombarding her with pointless facts, between being genuine and self-pitying. She wants to know if you can discuss the past without harboring bitterness or unresolved emotional baggage, as well as how you respond to suffering or disappointment. Because it's a warning sign, my buddy, if she feels that you're still carrying the baggage from your previous relationship. It brings to mind a discussion I had with Laura, another buddy. She told me about an older man she dated for a time and how she asked him this exact question during one of their first dates. How did your previous relationship go? He began talking endlessly about his ex-wife without realizing it, describing their disagreements, miscommunications, and basically repeating past traumas. Laura confessed to me, and I felt as like I was getting to know his ex rather than him. She saw him no more after that. This brings us to the first crucial lesson. Avoid using your response as a way to vent your emotions. Avoiding having your past take over the conversation is just as important as not hiding what you've been through. It should be possible for a guy of maturity to talk about his experiences without being constrained by them. You will demonstrate that the past still has influence over you if you speak about your ex with resentment or nostalgia. And that's a deal breaker for a young woman who wants to advance. She wants someone who has grown, learned, and processed their previous relationships. You can talk about your previous relationship if it was nice, but don't romanticize it. If it went poorly, you can use what you've learned from it without feeling awful about yourself. A man is very appealing if he's able to accept his faults without letting them define him. According to emotional psychology, a person's emotional maturity is directly reflected in the way they discuss their former relationship. She will notice if you can talk politely about a relationship that didn't work out, since it demonstrates your ability to move on from the past. Actually, whether intentionally or inadvertently, this kind of question is made to gauge that. Are you still bound to the past, or are you a man of the present? You may question if it's appropriate to bring up the recent breakup. Yes, but there are some nuances. It may be sufficient to acknowledge that it's recent, but that you're okay with it. You don't need to elaborate. It's honest, but it also indicates that you're prepared to move on. For example, I recently ended a relationship, and although it was difficult, I learned a lot about what I truly want today, and I'm in a good position. With this query, she's assessing another crucial element: how you manage challenging feelings. In a relationship with an older man, a young lady wants you to be emotionally capable of more than just hasty responses. She wants to know if you can deal with disagreement, annoyance, and the ability to control your emotions in a responsible manner. Why? Because she wants to feel secure in your company. She may start to question the stability she's looking for in you if your response indicates that you still harbor unresolved issues or are unable to cope with what happened. When this question was posed, a man I once knew named Daniel knew just how to respond. He had ended a difficult relationship more than a year prior, and rather than going into graphic specifics, he talked about how the experience had aided in his personal development. He told me that I had come to the realization that I had been searching for answers to problems that were within of me. I learned to accept myself before searching for a new relationship, even if it was a difficult period. I now understand what I want and don't want. He wasn't only honest in his response, it demonstrated that he had completed the emotional labor required to move on. And that's what women truly appreciate, my friend. They're not trying to be flawless. They want to see that you have survived life's fires and have emerged stronger rather than burned. That you can discuss your past in a composed manner without allowing it to shape who you are now. What is the proper way to answer this question? Calmly, confidently, and above all, with a healthy dose of self-reflection. She is not interested in learning every detail of what transpired. Because of everything you've been through, she wants to know who you are now. If you can demonstrate to her that you're emotionally stable and receptive to new experiences, regardless of past challenges or pleasures, that will instill in her a level of trust that is difficult to find in younger men. Finally, remember, your response will also give her the opportunity to project herself into a possible relationship with you. She will feel more confident that her relationship with you won't be an emotional roller coaster if she can see that you can manage your emotions in a mature manner and that you know what you want and don't want. And that's a crucial factor for someone seeking security and stability in an older man. After dissecting this query, let's proceed to the next one, which may come up when she begins to show interest in your life outside of previous relationships. She will then inquire, how is a man like you still unmarried? This inquiry is a covert praise, and I'll tell you the secrets to responding to it in the most appealing and assured manner possible. Before we move on, let me just mention that please remember to subscribe and give this content a thumbs up if you're finding this video entertaining and feel like you're learning something new. The most illuminating sections are yet to come, so stay with me through to the very end. I have one last thought that might change your life if you're genuinely trying to change your well-being from the inside out. And while I'm speaking, tell me what you're doing. If you're sipping your favorite beverage, unwinding, or perhaps engaged in some other activity, please let me know. Let's go on. This is one of those queries that has a secret complement, even if it seems innocent. How can a man like you remain unmarried? A young woman isn't really seeking for a thorough or rational explanation of why you don't currently have a companion when she wonders why a man like you is still alone. In her heart, she is highlighting the fact that you possess attributes that she finds appealing. "I don't understand how no one has seen what I'm seeing," she seems to be saying. This question is the ideal way to demonstrate both humility and confidence. You risk ruining the subtle attraction she's beginning to sense if you react too enthusiastically or come across as cocky. However, it can also cast doubt on you if you get defensive or appear confused of your reasons for remaining single. Finding the ideal balance is crucial in this situation. One of my close friends, Anna, told me a story about an older man she dated. He was one of those individuals who exuded poise and assurance. She asked, "How is it that someone like you is still single?" as they were strolling together one afternoon. "Because I'm waiting for someone who makes me feel like it's worth staying," he replied, pausing to smile as he stared into her eyes. Anna reported to me that she experienced a tingling sensation at that very moment, not only due to his words, but also to the way he delivered them. He didn't appear frantic to explain his circumstances or attempt to defend anything. Rather, he made it apparent in that remark that he was a man who appreciated his time and feelings and was amenable to a relationship, but not with just anybody. This is the kind of answer that will help you come off as genuine and confident. If you're a man who chooses to be single and would rather wait for someone who genuinely changes your life than settle for anyone, she wants to know. She will be more drawn to you if you can naturally communicate that notion. From a psychological standpoint, she's attempting to determine whether your lack of relationships is due to your high standards or just your bad luck in love. Showing her that you've grown from your mistakes and aren't merely searching for someone to fill a gap is important at this point. It should be evident from your response that you are a man who appreciates the type of relationship you are looking to establish. Naturally, this also applies to her. The inquiry is more about how she sees herself fitting into your life than it is about you. When you consider it, there is a tinge of competition in this subject as well. She seems to be asking, "What's missing? If you haven't found someone yet, might I be the one to occupy that area?" She is experimenting to see whether she can be the special someone you have been looking for, the one that previous women haven't been. It's basically a subliminal technique for her to gauge her own value in your eyes. Roberto, a buddy, provided the ideal illustration of how to respond to this query. When he met a young woman who asked him this identical question, he had been unmarried for a number of years. His response was straightforward yet impactful. "I've been in partnerships, but as time went on, I came to the conclusion that I prefer being alone myself to being poorly accompanied. I'm now searching for someone who genuinely shares my goals and values. I know it will happen when the moment is right, therefore I'm not in a rush." Roberto's response demonstrated that he knew exactly what he was looking for, in addition to the fact that he wasn't desperate to be in a relationship. A young woman who may still be determining her life goals will find great appeal in such clarity and decisiveness. She may feel more secure and attracted to you if she sees a man who already possesses that clarity. When responding to this question, it's also important to maintain a cheerful tone. You risk sending a message of frustration or despair if you start talking about how difficult it has been to locate a compatible mate, or if you gripe about your previous experiences. You will instead come across as someone who is happy with himself if you concentrate on what you have learned and how you like your life as it is. A young woman will definitely appreciate that. She isn't searching for someone who is frantically attempting to fill a void after all. She wants to share her sense of fullness with someone who is already whole. When she poses this question, she's also paying close attention to how you deal with loneliness. Emotionally confident older guys are those who are at ease in their own company, know how to appreciate their alone time, and don't require continual affirmation from a companion. And that's really alluring. Don't undervalue the importance of demonstrating to her that, although you want company, you are not defined by your need for companionship. You're open to something more, but you're good as you are. How come a man like you is still unmarried? A young woman asks. Take a deep breath and consider what you truly want to convey. Long explanations or answers are not necessary for this question. It's sufficient to demonstrate to her that you don't consider being single to be an issue. You've made the decision to wait for something that really matters and have used that time to grow and learn. She may now become more interested in your lifestyle and leisure activities as a result of this question. She wants to check if you still have life's energy and enthusiasm here more than anywhere else. What do you do in your spare time is the next question that may be asked. But believe me, this isn't only motivated by curiosity. Let's examine what she's actually asking with this question and how you might respond to demonstrate to her your bright and colorful personality. How do you spend your leisure time? A young woman who asks you this isn't only interested in your interests or daily routine. How you live is what she truly wants to know. She wants to know if you still like life, how active you are, how much vitality you have left, and most importantly, if you can surprise her. Because, my friend, a young woman does not desire an older man who is stuck in his comfort zone or has accepted routine. She wants to know if you still have the energy, curiosity, and enthusiasm for life to contribute. Carolina, a friend of mine, dated a man who is 20 years her senior. She informed me that she was drawn to him not just because of his maturity, but also because of the way he talked about his hobbies, weekend excursions, love of reading, and his passion for restoring antique furniture. It was not that he was physically busy, but rather that he maintained his cerebral vitality and was constantly enthused about something. She once remarked, I felt like I'd never stop learning or exploring new things with him. A young woman may have a different opinion of you if you respond like that, because an elderly man giving up on life is the last thing she wants. What do you do in your spare time then, when she asks? It's not only about enumerating your hobbies or activities. It's about demonstrating to her with passion what you love to do and what keeps you occupied, alert, and engaged with the outside world. This is the ideal time to discuss your hobbies, but it's important to make sure they align with your life's passion. It doesn't matter if your favorite activity is something as basic as gardening or creating a new meal each week. It matters that she can see that you are still curious and joyful despite your advanced age. From a psychological perspective, many men have a tendency to become more sedentary and less open to trying new things or stepping outside of their comfort zone as they become older. A young woman is afraid that an older man may be too comfy and predictable. She wants to avoid feeling stuck in a rut. She's also searching for indications that life with you is still thrilling, full of surprises and opportunities for adventure. A story of a man named Julio that I knew years ago comes to mind. Despite being in his 50s, Julio had a very young energy. In response to inquiries about his leisure activities, he eagerly discussed his weekend motorbike excursions, his passion for photography, and even his pursuit of learning Italian for its own sake. The ladies he dated were drawn to his enthusiasm rather than his activities in general. He was irresistible not just because of his engaging activities, but also because he retained a passion for life, which many people lose with age. When she asks this question, her true intention is to find out if she can see herself living with you, whether she will be able to learn something from you, experience things that will make her life better, or conversely, whether she will become stuck in a rut. Projecting that vibrancy, that curiosity for the novel, and that drive to continue discovering the world, whether by travel, reading, cooking, or creating something, is crucial in this situation. Enjoying what you do and expressing it honestly are more important than being a guy of tremendous travels. In addition to being gorgeous, an older man who knows how to maintain his vitality, curiosity, and desire to study is also an inspiration. Despite the age gap, she believes you can teach her new things and open her eyes to viewpoints she hadn't thought of, and that is highly enticing for a young lady. Because physical attraction is only a minor portion of the equation, which is something that most people don't realize. What you can offer her both academically and emotionally, with your life experience and outlook, is what truly keeps her engaged. And independence is still another important component. Talking about your hobbies also conveys to her how much you respect her personal time and space, which is a crucial message. You're communicating to her that you lead a fulfilling life and that you don't need anyone else to fill it. Trust me, you will. Many young ladies find older males who possess that quality appealing. She is not the person you are seeking to fill your emotional gaps. You are willing to share your entire life with someone who understands how to value it. A sense of humor is another essential component that should not be overlooked. Any barrier can be broken with a lighthearted and amusing reaction. You might discuss some enjoyable pastime you engage in, or an oddball endeavor that keeps you occupied. For example, I've been attempting to learn how to play the guitar lately. However, I don't believe my neighbors are very pleased with the outcome. Humor demonstrates that you not only love life, but also don't take yourself too seriously, which is a very desirable quality for any lady. Thus, the next time she inquires about your leisure activities, keep in mind that it's not enough to simply list your interests. You also need to use them to demonstrate your personality. Prove to her that you still love life, that you're inquisitive, and that you have fun on your own, and that life will never be dull if she chooses to be with you. Ultimately, a young woman seeks an older man who still possesses the spark and energy that give her a sense of aliveness and connection. After discussing this question, let's move on to another that is just as intriguing. She might want to go deeper into the dynamics of dating someone significantly younger than you as the conversation progresses. She will next pose the challenging query, does dating someone considerably younger upset you? This is where your self-assurance and confidence are truly tested, my buddy. Let's see whether you can respond to this query with the same poise and authority that you have shown to the others. Dating someone considerably younger bothers you, doesn't it? It's not a random question to be asked by a young woman. This is one of those inquiries that has an obvious purpose despite its seemingly innocuous nature. She's trying to see how confident you are and how well you can deal with the age difference, because although it may seem like she wants your perspective on the age gap, she is actually gauging your level of confidence. She wants to know if dating a younger lady makes you uneasy, or if you're the type of man who accepts it without making a big deal out of it. In actuality, age differences can be delicate topics, and those in your immediate vicinity frequently complicate them. However, a young lady wants to know if you are confident enough in yourself as an older man to not let the statistics scare you. She can start to distrust the relationship if you appear insecure about it or overly worried about what other people think. When the other person feels the need to defend or explain every action, no one wants to be in a relationship. I vividly recall talking to my friend Claudia about how she began seeing a man who was over 25 years older than her. She informed me that at first she was a little apprehensive about the age gap because she wasn't sure how he would react to it, not because it mattered to her. When I asked him if dating a younger person troubled him, however, things changed. Without wasting a beat, he grinned and replied, "I wouldn't be here with you if it bothered me." Claudia laughed as she informed me. She felt more at ease and liberated after hearing his straightforward but confident remark, which gave her confidence that the age difference didn't bother him. The secret is that, with this question, she's trying to gauge your level of confidence. She wants to know if you can act composedly in this situation and take pleasure in the partnership without worrying excessively about something as trivial as age. Remember that the age gap may also be a source of anxiety for her. It's likely that she has heard remarks from family members or friends that cause her to question things. She will, however, feel more confident if you exude confidence and demonstrate that it is not a problem for you. When answering this question, you should be lighthearted, composed, and above all, show that you are totally at ease with the circumstance. It's not about giving a lengthy lecture about the advantages of age gap partnerships or arguing that age is irrelevant. A straightforward answer with a dash of humor can work far better. "Oh, not at all," I said. "It's actually fun, and it keeps me young at heart." In addition to allaying any concerns she may have, this type of response turns the topic on its head by demonstrating that you view the circumstances favorably, especially favorably. There is another level to this subject from a psychological one. She's also trying to gauge your ability to take criticism from others by asking if dating a younger person worries you. Because even if you or she may not care, the reality is that people frequently make comments, pass judgment, and even provide criticism. She wants a man who doesn't care what other people say, who is confident enough in himself, and whose relationship won't be impacted by what other people think. Alberto, a man I knew years ago, was seeing a much younger woman. He was a very composed man who never flinched when questioned about the age difference. He informed me that although he could see people's interested looks when they were out together, his attitude was what made him stand out. His spouse inherited his tranquility, as he never felt the need to explain anything. She was first concerned about the opinions of others. However, he informed me that she began to relax after realizing that it had no effect on me. And that's the strength of demonstrating that you're not intimidated by other people's opinions. It gives the partnership a great sense of solidity. Therefore, when a young lady asks you if dating someone much younger worries you, she's really asking if you're the type of man who can put aside other people's ideas. She may perceive your response as a lack of confidence if it conveys insecurity or if you feel the need to defend the relationship. She will, however, perceive you as a man who is self-assured and unaffected by social norms if you manage it calmly and easily. It's important to remember that she can be asking this question to get reassurance. It's possible that she harbors reservations about the possibility of the age gap becoming a problem. She may be worried if she can keep up with you physically or emotionally, or if that gap may become more apparent over time. This is the point at which your answer can provide her with the assurance she seeks. If you can demonstrate to her that age is merely a number to you and that the relationship you are forming is what really counts, she will be more at ease and self-assured in the partnership. Making her feel unique is another important component you can use into your reaction, because she is ultimately determining whether she is the young person you are genuinely interested in dating. I adore being with you because, despite your youth, you have a maturity and energy that I find very appealing, is an example of a reaction. Paxton sends her superior, which is where the tempestuous love triumph comes from, by communicating to her that you find her attractive, not only for her age, but also for her character. And humor enters the picture here. Humor is an effective way to lighten the tone of a subject that may otherwise seem delicate. In addition to relieving tension, you'll demonstrate that you don't take yourself too seriously if you can respond to this inquiry with a smile, a light remark, or a well-chosen joke. A simple smile can help her relax and break down any barriers. For example, "Of course it doesn't bother me, it keeps me in shape." When a young lady asks this question, she ultimately wants to know that neither of you will be burdened by the age gap. She wants to know if you're the type of man who can enjoy a relationship without any problems and who is confident enough to not give a damn about what other people think. She will see you as a trustworthy partner who will make her feel valued and at ease, regardless of what other people may think, if you can project that confidence. After discussing how to approach this challenging topic, it's time to move on to the final and possibly most significant question of all. The question that truly puts everything into perspective comes after she has examined your life, your emotions, and your confidence. Are you self-care oriented? This is more than just a physical health question, my buddy. It all comes down to your self-worth and your ability to provide her with a future with you. Let's find out what she wants from this question and how to answer it to strengthen our bond even further. Ultimately, what we've observed in these questions is an invitation to consider your identity and public persona, rather than merely a collection of tactics or responses. It has nothing to do with impressing or acting. It's about demonstrating who you've become as a man through your life experiences, lessons learned, and, above all, your capacity to build real relationships. A young lady who wants to date you is searching for more than casual conversation. She wants to know if you're the type of man who can provide security, self-assurance, and that spark of energy that comes from someone who has learnt to appreciate every phase of life. Each of these inquiries offers a chance to demonstrate that age is a strength rather than a disadvantage. You now have useful tools from your experience to handle relationships with confidence, patience, and wisdom. And if I've learned anything over the years, it's that how you make someone feel, not what you say, is what counts most. What truly connects is being present, listening intently, and understanding when to talk and when to be silent. Every time you find yourself in a similar circumstance, I want you to keep this in mind. You don't have to prove anything or impress anyone. Simply be genuine, self-assured, and ready to savor every minute with her, without hurrying or having expectations that can occasionally sabotage the finest chances. Recall that a man who is content with himself is the most beautiful trait. I'm Celia, and I want this place to be a haven of knowledge where we can discuss these significant subjects openly and honestly, without masks or pretenses. Here, we discuss everyday living, from the intimate to the commonplace, and how to enhance our relationships and quality of life. Because I am conscious that every tiny self-improvement we do and every act of self-awareness we make has an impact on how we interact with people and conduct our relationships. I encourage you to subscribe and enable notifications if this is your first visit to the channel. I don't want you to miss what's about to happen, because it will be even more profound and illuminating. I also want to congratulate you if you have reached this point, as it indicates that you take your own development seriously. Comment with the words, "I love wisdom," and let me know where you're listening from to find out who these dedicated seekers are. Please let me know who is traveling this path with me. Additionally, remember to share this movie with a loved one before we part ways. Perhaps someone you know needs a fresh viewpoint, an encouraging remark, or just the opportunity to learn more about themselves and other people. A little guidance can have a significant impact at times. I'll see you in the upcoming video. I